All right, so hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our community call today, the 13th OpenAIRE Graph community call. Today we have with us OpenAIRE Graph data curator Leonidas Pispiringas, who is also a scholarly communication technical expert and one of the service managers of OpenAIRE Monitor. Today he'll be exploring the case of the National Open Access Monitor for Ireland. So today we kindly ask you to please keep your microphones muted during the presentation to avoid any background noise. And at the end, we'll have about 30 minutes of discussion where we'll give you the floor to ask any questions. So please, you can write all of your questions either here in the Zoom Q&A or chat, or also in the Google Doc, which you can find in the chat here. And I'm sharing that now. And the link there to our Google Doc. A reminder that today's session will be recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please let us know and we can edit any questions or comments you may pose out of the recording. So with that said, let's get started. I'll pass the floor over now to Leonidas.
Thank you, Elena, for the introduction. Let me share my screen to start the presentation. Okay, so as Elena has already mentioned, today I will be presenting the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland project. We are going to have an introduction about the project. The outline of the presentation is an introduction about the project. We're going to talk about the methodological principles that we followed. Of course, the details about the data backbone and the OpenAIRE graph. We're going to have some discussion, presentation of the data quality enhancement functionalities, some evaluation and recommendations, mostly upon the data quality improvement. And at the end, we're also going to have a short platform walkthrough of the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland. So this is a project. OpenAIRE had developed this project, has been entrusted to OpenAIRE following a contract that has been awarded for a competitive tendering process by the Irish Research Electronic Library in collaboration with Education Procurement Services. It's a dynamic and innovative platform that has been designed to chart and foster the transition of Ireland's scholarly output to 100% open access. It provides transparent, comprehensive insights into the state of open access in Ireland, and it serves as a key instrument to analyze trends, identify challenges, guiding policy development towards achieving an open, accessible, and sustainable research environment in Ireland. So, our methodological principles were often, of course, we are based on openness and transparency. We use transparent methodologies and open public data to build the platform. We adhere to FAIR principles and international standards in order to ensure trustworthiness, replicability, and public engagement. Comprehensive coverage and accuracy by using the OpenAIRE Graph's extensive data capabilities, while it also collaborates with stakeholders for data representation and quality, and we aim to get the most comprehensive coverage and accurate, meaningful indicators, because comprehensive coverage leads to having the best representation in the metrics and the indicators. Readiness and timeliness. We leverage established open databases, tested knowledge extraction technologies, such as NLP and machine learning technologies. And of course, we use operational workflows in OpenAIRE in order to build the OpenAIRE graph and all of our services to guarantee timely results. And of course, we focus on engagement and inclusivity. We collaborate with the community through all our services. We focus on meeting diverse user needs, from the single researcher to the policymakers, and we prioritize the ease of use, the clear communication, and our responsiveness to the user feedback. This will help to ensure an intuitive and engaging platform experience for all the stakeholders. So, the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland is comprised of 5 monitors. We have the National Monitor, which visualizes the national research output of Ireland. And then we have the breakdowns of 4 other monitors regarding the research funding organizations, the RFOs, the research performing organizations, the RPOs. And also we have the monitors for the institutional repositories that are registered into OpenAIRE, and of course we have also the researcher monitors. So the mission and objectives. First, at the national level, the goal is to provide transparent and comprehensive insights into the state of open access in Ireland. And also for this platform to serve as an important tool, an important add-on tool in order to analyze trends, identify challenges, and guide the policy development and the national policy development and decision making towards an open, accessible, and sustainable research environment. For the RPO's monitor, the goal is to establish a national level visibility for the institutional research outputs through the platform. They can compare their open access performance against peer institutions, assist them to ensure compliance with open access mandates, and of course, helps in uncovering weak spots and insights to guide evidence-based decisions. For the RFOs, we have the benchmarking against peer funders, RFOs. We have the ability to assess the open access compliance of the funding research out products, of course, to monitor the research impact, and additionally to shape the strategic agendas. For the repositories monitor, first of all, they can ensure that all the open access publications from the repositories are accurately reflected, and also they facilitate to the comprehensive coverage of the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland, an important part of the data quality that we will also discuss in the following slides. And for the researcher monitors, they provide tailored information for individual researchers, for the publications of the individual researchers, including the open access status and the compliance with funder mandates. They facilitate the ORCID integration while they synchronize with their ORCID records, and they encourage researchers to actively participate in refining and improving the data quality. So all the 5 monitors follow a specific section regarding the indicator themes. We have the section of the scholarly output. We will also go through all these sections for the indicator themes in the walkthrough after the presentations. So we have indicators about the scholarly output. We have for the national monitor the historical snapshots section, where we represent monthly evolution in the share of open access, where we will see specific indicators with the status, the open access status at the specific month by using the data from the specific version of the OpenAIRE graph. We have themes about the access rights, the open access routes, the gold, hybrid, bronze, and also some categories that have been requested from, particularly requested from the project. such as repository-oriented or publisher-oriented open access. We will see them in the walkthrough. We have indicators regarding fairness. We have planness indicators, also APCs, benchmark indicators for the cross-country metrics for the national monitor and the cross RPO and RFO sections, respectively, and the academic impact regarding the citations and the downloads. All the indicators have breakdowns for research product types, fields of science, SDGs. They present trends. We have also breakdown by country, data sources, funders, and others. Also, we have specific user interface functionalities on exporting the metrics, embedding the charts, embedding options where you can embed the chart to another platform or another website via iframe functionality. And of course, all the charts are interactive and all the user interface functionalities are have come from the OpenAIRE Monitor service, and also they have been enriched. And we have some specific user actions. The first two are also present in OpenAIRE Explore, the Add to ORCID and linking functionalities, where you can synchronize, with researchers can synchronize the ORCID records with the platform, and the linking functionality, where they can link research outputs with projects, datasets, and others. And there is a new functionality, the upload DOIs functionality, where someone can upload a list of DOIs in the platform and gets some enriched a rich report describing the access right of the respective DOIs, if it is open, closed, embargo, or restricted, the access route of the respective DOIs, indicates if it is green or if it is a published in a Diamond Open Access Journal. And of course, it highlights the total numbers of these DOIs that exist in the Iris Monitor platform and also in the OpenAIRE graph for Ireland, and also if there are any duplicates or invalid DOIs. So for the RPO and RFO monitors, we have the indicators view, where we have the highlighted open access subtech indicators and cross RPO RFO benchmarking indicators, and detailed breakdowns and filtering. And we also have the research outputs view, where we have browsing capabilities of the individual of the research products that you are used to utilize the indicators, standard and advanced searching functionalities, and filtering functionalities. And we have also the dashboard managers, for which who have access to the RPO and RFO manager have also access to the sandbox, which is a beta version of the platform, in order to verify the data quality and check any new or updated metrics and indicators. And for the RPO managers, they also have access to the OpenOgs platform to deduplicate the organization names and also to set parent-child relationships. The repository monitors offer metrics and indicators on research output, on scholarly output, and also on the access rights at the instance level, meaning that we present indicators for the research product, for the publications that we aggregate from the repository and not the deduplicated version that we get from the OpenAIRE graph, with detailed breakdowns and filtering, of course. And there are also browsing capabilities as well here. In order to gain the full functionality and to get more comprehensive information in the platform, repository should register in OpenAIRE through the OpenAIRE provided dashboard. This way they can elevate their records with precise validation and enrichment. They gain insights from detailed user statistics, and also they simplify their open access compliance, promoting effortless content dissemination. In the beginning of the project, most of the repositories have been registered with and integrated into the OpenAIRE graph. And during the project, there was an initiative that had been started in Ireland, the Open Repositories Initiative. And one of the goals is to focus on providing the necessary tools and guides for all the institutional repositories to upgrade their compatibility to the latest version with the OpenAIRE guidelines, and this way they can easily register into OpenAIRE Provide. So the data backbone has all of OpenAIRE services. Also, the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland utilizes data from the OpenAIRE graph, which is a scientific knowledge graph and provides timely and comprehensive coverage of research products beyond publications. We have near monthly updates, almost every 4 to 6 weeks. We have precision, depth, and processing with cleaning, deduplication, and enrichment workflows, full text mining, and techniques for duplicate identification, in addition to OpenAIRE curation tools, and robustness and openness with professional infrastructure, which is in the OpenAIRE Technology Center is in the university, the ICM at the University of Warsaw, where we provide maintenance, load balancing, backups, and all of these workflows have been overseen in the University of Warsaw. Of course, OpenAIRE Graph is open. We have open data, it's open source and transparent methodologies. Oh, how is it made? I'm sure that most of you have already seen this image with the workflow on how OpenAIRE Graph has been is made, is utilized. We start from the data sources, the repositories, open access journals, CRIS, aggregators, national aggregators, and other data sources that comply with the OpenAIRE guidelines and been registered and aggregated through the OpenAIRE Provide dashboard into the OpenAIRE graph. And also we have the instrumental or authoritative data sources that we aggregate into the OpenAIRE in order to facilitate the comprehensive information into the OpenAIRE graph from Crossref, DataSite, ORCID, PubMed, funded databases, and other data sources, DOHA and other data sources, and through several workflows on enrichment by mining, the duplication process, enrichment by inference, and through finalization processes, we have the final product, which is utilized by the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland. And by providing the user feedback, we follow and complete the circle on the creation and improving the data quality. So a few words on the data disambiguation techniques. First of all, the deduplication process in OpenAIRE. Almost all of the records in the that exist into the OpenAIRE graph are potentially aggregated from different data sources. This, as a result, you have several versions of the same research product. We follow a specific deduplication process in order to represent the duplicated research product, and also we can showcase it, all the versions of the research product. There is detailed documentation in the OpenAIRE Graph website. The data sources regarding the journals and the repositories that we aggregate metadata. we follow a semi-manual approach. And here we get always feedback from the content aggregation teams regarding the compatibility with the OpenAIRE guidelines and the process workflow into the registration and into the OpenAIRE provide and the aggregation. And of course, these fields on the disambiguation involve the official name of the data source, website URL, persistent identifier, and on these fields also we have a general disambiguation process by using the ISSNs. For the organizations, we use a semi-automated disambiguation approach. And we use the OpenORGS platform, where the OpenAIRE algorithms on identifying the organizational records are added into the OpenORGS platform as proposals. They are manually accepted or rejected by the curators in the OpenORGS platform. By being curators are of course, all the dashboard managers from the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland, where they utilize the platform and perform this disambiguation. They accept or reject these proposals. And on research products, where we have a fully automated approach, and we have a normalization of relevant properties via dedicated vocabularies and custom text similarity algorithms on licenses, countries, and languages. It's important to mention the enrichment via text mining, where we have the affiliation matching algorithm, where this algorithm matches affiliations from documents from research products with the OpenAIRE organization database. We have the funding classifiers, where we categorize text from abstracts into predefined classes, our knowledge concepts extraction, where we identify grant identifiers, patents, bioentities, and custom concepts in publications, metadata extraction techniques, and of course, the field of science and technology classification and the SDG classification, where we use NLP-based system classifying publications into for field of science classes up to level 3. And currently we utilize into the OpenAIRE only level 1 and level 2 for the time being. And the SDG classification, where we align research with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, pinpoint contributions to global challenges. And the PDF aggregation for the Ireland National Open Access Monitor of Ireland for the Irish Monitor research output. So the current graph is almost 66% of the Irish peer-reviewed open access publications. So regarding additional data quality infringements, every organization and also user can utilize the linking functionality, where users can associate research outputs with projects, communities, or other outputs, and they can add or update the ORCID records by claiming additional research outputs. For the RPOs, there is, of course, the deduplication, the disambiguation via the OpenORGS platform. And here we have a new functionality that will soon be implemented in the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland and into OpenAIRE Monitor. It's a claim to affiliation via DOIs, where the dashboard managers will have the ability to upload a list or to select DOIs or upload a list of DOIs and associate these research outputs with their institution. It's an add-on functionality in order to improve the affiliation matching into the OpenAIRE graph, because the dashboard managers are users that can be trusted to perform this process. And for RFOs, of course, is to provide funding data for custom text mining and the repositories to register to OpenAIRE provider be aggregated into the OpenAIRE graph by complying, of course, with the OpenAIRE guidelines. I put this slide because it's important for the RFOs, the funders, in their representation into the OpenAIRE graph, which can be made in two ways. First of all, they can be represented via the Open Funder Registry, where we can have the publication and funder links, but here we cannot guarantee the quality and we don't have a curation. And one option to improve the results in this case is to have the unidentified project mining. And of course, the recommended option is to join the OpenAIRE funder as an RFO, where the RFO provides the funding data, the funding project metadata, and OpenAIRE develops a tailored text mining module to create the publication project links. It's a meticulous curation process, and this way we can ensure a comprehensive presence with project level granularity, and we can guarantee the precision of the incorporated data. So as I have already talked about, we have the sandbox, the beta platform of the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland, which is used only for development, and there only the RPO and RFO managers have access, where they can see the data from the pre-release version of the graph, the data that is to be incorporated to the production environment, and also they can test and provide feedback regarding new functionalities and also new metrics or indicators. And after this validation process, we can move to production. So let's have a summary on the data quality, which is a very important issue in order to have a comprehensive comprehensive representation of the uptake at a country RPO RFO level into the Open Access Monitor platform. We have the deduplication, enrichment, and cleaning in OpenAIRE and into the OpenAIRE graph, where we have also the disambiguation of journals, publishers, and licenses, and the additional data quality enhancements for the RPOs to be disambiguated in OpenORGs, the RFOs to provide the funding data for custom text mining, repositories to register and be aggregated into the OpenAIRE graph, the researchers to claim their research outputs via the linking functionality, via the claim via ORCID functionality, and everyone to use the linking functionality to link research outputs with projects and other research outputs. So this is an image of the architecture of the platform, where we start at the bottom with the workflow that we have already seen that creates and utilizes the OpenAIRE graph, where the platform gets the data for the National Open Access Monitor. We have a vice versa via the claims when we get additional metadata enrichment there. And of course, the National Open Access Monitor is publicly available for everyone, and dashboard managers and researchers that want to claim the records via ORCID and also to use the linking functionality, they have to be signed in via the OpenAIRE AAI, with the institutional account. We are continuously working towards a qualitative iris monitor, a more qualitative iris monitor platform with all the stakeholders from Ireland. We focus on data quality improvements. Also, we focus on users' engagement, and we're trying to put more RPOs, RFOs to utilize and use the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland by having webinars, open insight sessions, and even one-on-one meetings with to discuss any issues, any queries, any questions we have, and also through our help desk, of course. We constantly refine metrics and indicators by considering users' feedback. And also we check and define the repository compatibility and aggregation. And of course, we have improvements in the user interface from time to time. This is a slide for recommendations for indirect data quality improvement strategies, apart from the ones that we can say that it's more direct, that we have already mentioned. I will go through a little bit fast on this slide. These are recommendations for policymakers, for publishers, for example, for publishers to implement consistent metadata standards, to share their publication data openly, to import, for example, the correct information in the metadata records in Crossref, for example, for researchers to use their ORCID IDs and updating their ORCID records consistently wherever their record is not updated automatically. For the repository and data source, the authoritative data source managers, to maintain robust metadata standardization and quality control, and for all stakeholders to engage generally in training on metadata management and open science, and to collaborate among each other in order to address these metadata challenges and their solutions. I put also 3 links. The platform of the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland. There's another community where we have every report, publication, presentation, webinar that have been and will be created or presented. And of course, the page in the platform where we have the engagement and training events. So this was my presentation. Let's also go through a quick walkthrough through the platform. We will see mostly the national monitor. We have in the monitor section, we have the dashboard with the metrics and indicators. The scholarly production section, we have metrics on publications, peer-reviewed publications, and open access peer-reviewed publications with license. I want to mention that the platform, they wanted to focus on at the publication level, and also they wanted to have clearly distinguish. They wanted us to clearly distinguish the open access publications to the ones that have license and the ones that do not have license. We have several breakdowns by trends. We have by type, by data source type, fields of science, level 1 and 2, and also SDGs. And the top RPOs, RFOs, publishers, and data sources by number of peer-reviewed publications. Here is the embed functionality that I have already told you. You can utilize via iframe. The historical snapshot section, as we said, provides the monthly evolution in the share of open access publications and progress in open science uptake. These are important indicators, especially in the progress in open science uptake. We have the evolution by access rights, the repository open access versus publisher open access evolution. By saying repository, this is a category that the categories that they wanted to distinguish. In Ireland, we have the repository open access that contain publications that are green open access with license, only green open access publications. The publisher open access publications are the ones that are gold or hybrid only, and we also have the repository and publisher open access. The unrealized open access evolution, where we have the closed access, the green without license, and the bronze open access. This is the categories that have been utilized by the project requirements. And we also have the green versus gold versus hybrid open access evolution. In the access rights section, we have peer-reviewed publications. By access rights, we have open access with and without license, embargo restricted, closed access, and also the ones that the access mode is unspecified. The breakdowns are by field of science, level 1 and level 2. In several of the charts, you can see representations on values and percentage. We have the access rights trends for peer-reviewed publications by year. We also have breakdowns by type and by data source type. And the top RPOs, RFOs, publishers, and data sources by number of open access peer-reviewed publications with license. And similarly, we have the section with the open access routes, where we have metrics on the open access mediation. These categories are the same as I have already explained in the historical snapshots, with several breakdowns, of course. We have the unrealized open access and the open access routes. We have the first section where we have metrics and indicators regarding the license, the peer-reviewed publications by license, with or without CC license, and several breakdowns, and some other fair aspects on the persistent identifier type, over time, the grant-supported peer-reviewed publications with the funding reference, peer-reviewed publications with abstract, with an ORCID ID, and also the top RPOs by number of peer-reviewed publications with an ORCID ID. We have planners indicators. The data for the transformative agreements has been uploaded by IRL into OpenAPC. And this is where we get the data for the transformative agreements for the National Open Access Monitor of Ireland. Here we have peer-reviewed publications since 2021, where the Planners Initiative has been started. We have the categories that for peer-reviewed publications in Diamond journals, the ones that are under transformative agreements, in transformative channels and the gold open access with APCs, with, of course, several breakdowns. And also in the APC section, I won't go through all the metrics. I just want to mention that we have here are two sections, the APCs that have been reported to OpenAPC by any co-authors institution, and the ones, and in the RPO and RFO monitors, we also have a section with the APCs that have been reported by the institution, by the organization into OpenAPC. We have the cross-country indicators in order for the island to see where it stands among the global research environment. We have the peer-reviewed publication by country, by access rights by country, the repository open access versus the publisher open access. As you can see, we have put the island first in order to be able more easily to see the benchmarking option, and the unrealized open access, and the green versus gold versus hybrid open access. And the academic impact sections with metrics and indicators on the citations and downloads. So I think I will stop here. Thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you so much, Leonidas. All right, so now we'll move on to the Q&A. So feel free, again, you can write your questions in the Google Doc that was shared in the chat, in the chat itself, or even in the Zoom Q&A. Or you can also, of course, raise your hand. Let's see if there's any questions at the moment. Give you a second maybe to reflect. At the moment. So this case is actually quite interesting, the National Open Access Ireland, because Ireland is actually the first country to adopt 100% open access policy, and the aim is that all need maybe some clarification if it's all publicly funded or all research in the country. The aim is for it all to be 100% open access by 2030. So the goal of this monitor is to track, the uptake and how the progress of that policy is going. Of course, you can have the policy, but you need to be able to track it and actually make sure it's working and see, what areas need maybe more help. So it's really interesting because, again, they're the first country to do this. So it's a huge move for open science. Maybe I'll also take this chance to share some announcements if you're thinking of some questions, but I'll take the opportunity. So as some of you may know, we recently released the new OpenAIRE Graph API. And we'll be hosting a public webinar on the 3rd of April to explore the new features and real-world applications. So if you're interested in joining, you can register via the link, which I'll share now in the chat. And I'll also share the article announcing the new API to give you some more information on them, as well as the documentation. And just a little teaser that 1 or 2 new features will also be ready by the time of the webinar. So what you read in the article there will be 1 or 2 things more by the time the webinar comes around. So it's definitely stay tuned for that. That's really be really interesting. So here I'll share all the API information. Use that. And then also for any of you who may have been following or maybe even unaware of, haven't learned of yet, the EOS EU node, we'll be hosting the first Ask Me Anything session next week. And the EOS EU node is a recent infrastructure created in partnership with the European Commission, with a bunch of contractors, that gives you some services and everything to really facilitate research workflows. And it's really interesting. In OpenAIRE Graph, we're honored to have been selected as the authoritative source of data for this node. So the session will include discussions on collaborations across institutions, analyzing data with Jupyter notebooks and virtual machines, sharing and reusing data securely, and discovering new research tools and services. So we encourage you to join and see how the node can help you in your workflows. So here is the registration here. And then I'll also share the website for the EOSQ node, so you can check it out, because it is relatively new. So maybe some of you haven't heard of it yet, but it is quite interesting. So I'll share that also now here in the chat. I'll read the resources to help you with your projects. Here you are. And the services of the EOSQ node are free to use. It's based on a credit system, and the credits are free. Again, it's funded and supported by the European Commission. So you can read more about the credits and how those work and everything, again, in the website. Let's see if we have any questions on the Irish monitor, or any other questions at all, of course, regarding the graph monitoring or anything. Thank you, Pedro. Maybe I'll also pass the floor to our colleague Marilee, who also has another announcement. So I guess I'll just do some announcements here.
Yes, hello, thank you, Elena. Just another announcement regarding the OSFair 2025 edition, which will be happening on 15th to 17th of September, hosted by the CERN Open Science Office at CERN Science Gateway in Geneva, Switzerland. The call for contributions is now open. You can find it. All the information are on Open Science Fair website. We will post a link here, and you can submit any contributions from the Indico page. So here is the link, and we will be happy to see all of you there.
Thank you, Marilee. All right, if we don't have any questions, we can leave it there. Again, of course, you can feel free to always reach out to us if you think of any questions later. You can reach out during, via our help desk or user form, which again, so I'll post those here as well, just keep things easy for you. And then, as always, we'll follow up with the recording and slides of today's presentation and upload those as well to the OpenAIRE Graph website. So you can always go back if you want to see it again, if there are some other points. And of course, as always, reach out. And then in that case, I guess we'll leave it there, and we'll see you next month for our community call. And thank you again, Leonidas, for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
All right, goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.